Hi guys and welcome back to the Bike Cave. 2025 is in the books and the new year found me with a damaged knee, in pain and not able to ride, but let's take everything from the beginning. 2025 was a good year overall, but unfortunately I didn't manage to ride or train in general as consistently and as often as I wanted and should. Work obligations and my side hustle commitment to the XC cycling project made me put my training second on my priority list. Little did I know that this would come with a cost, but we'll get there. As I've said in the past, my goal was to train as much as I could, but the problem started when my schedule was getting busier and busier, and one day of the bike became 1 week and then 1 month without realizing it. But it was not only my professional obligations and the XC cycling project to blame. As I had said in a video about a year ago, I entered 2025 not trusting my bike and especially my fork, and because of that I wasn't feeling confident on the bike. So I started riding my mountain bike more often and putting more kilometers into the trails of the local mountains. I admit that mountain bikes are also fun and I was also riding cross country when I was way younger, but it's just not as fun as bike trials. I wanted to get a new trials bike, but the bike that I wanted to get was not available at the time. So I decided to look for a new fork for my trials bike and extend a bit its service life, even though this meant that I would have to keep riding with restricted confidence. If you're an older subscriber of the channel, you already know that I had modified my forks in the past so as to strengthen the steerer tube with carbon fiber. However, this time I decided to get a carbon fork in order to keep it for the bike that I wanted when it becomes available. Even this process was not easy, as many of the products that I wanted to complete the modification of the bike, including the fork that I wanted to fit, were not available at that time. Anyway, I finally managed to get the fork and everything I wanted to fit it, and I started training bike trials again more consistently. By that time, it was already early April, and starting riding bike trials again meant that I stopped riding my mountain bike. In May, I had another opportunity to travel to the UK and train with Jack Carthy again. It was another great training experience with the Carthy Academy, and back then I was feeling quite good on the bike. At that point, I didn't know that this would be my peak level of the year, and that from that point onwards, it would be only downhill both in terms of my physique and my riding level. After that, summer came to Greece, and it was a tough one, as I was trying to balance personal life with work and the XC cycling project. For the first time in my life, I felt that I didn't have time to train as much as I wanted, and I was skipping more and more training sessions without even noticing how quickly it was happening. Nevertheless, I started working on a very exciting project for XC cycling, but it's a difficult one and it's still a work in progress. Hopefully at some point in the near future, I'll manage to get to a point that I'm fully satisfied and I'll have an exciting new freewheel for bike trials that will be very different than everything else you can ride for trials, regardless if it's a freewheel or a cassette hub. But I cannot tell you more right now, other than let you enjoy the clicking sound of the first prototype. Also, later this summer, I managed to produce a second batch of the proven and trusted XC cycling slave cylinders. This second batch was improved in key areas to deliver better overall performance and reliability. I was so happy with the result, and now I'm getting ready to start a new batch following exactly the same manufacturing protocol and design. However, I'm always committed to keep improving the XC cycling products, taking into account the feedback we're getting from you, our athletes, and of course my own riding experience. Then autumn started and I kept being very busy without realizing that I was riding less and less every week. I became a weekend warrior and I was too busy to realize it. This was basically my ticket to an injury that was waiting to happen, but I didn't know when. At one point I started realizing that my riding level was not the one that I had used to have, and that this was directly connected to the fact that I wasn't training as much as I should. And at that point I made another stupid move, which was that I started trying to train more again, but without properly respecting my level at that moment. I took my body for granted, even though I had neglected my physique for quite a long time. I took my body for granted, but I'm 38 years old and my body wasn't ready to handle this training load without proper preparation. So fast forward to the day after Christmas and I went for a run after a very long time that I hadn't run at all. I knew that running is much more impactful than riding, as your knees are constantly loaded with more than 3 to 4 times your body weight on every step. Anyway, once again I took my body for granted, and 2.5 kilometers into my run I heard a very loud popping sound from my right knee. It was that moment that I realized that something bad happened, as I couldn't walk properly after that, and I spent my Christmas holidays in pain and not being able to walk normally. Now I have to deal with whatever this is, and I hope I come back to the bike as soon as possible. Unfortunately, this is a lesson learned the hard way, and I hope that I recover soon and avoid being a weekend athlete ever again. Or even if my schedule restricts me again in the future and I have to stop training as often as I would like to, I should learn to listen to my body better and respect my current physical level. So, what happened to my knee? I have no idea yet. The doctor said that it could be a torn meniscus, but I have to get an MRI to verify the level of the injury. And just to be clear, I'm not giving medical or training advice here, I'm simply sharing my personal experience. I would like to take you with me on this journey of recovery until I get back on my bike and ride properly again. I have no idea how long this journey will be, but it's a journey that I'll happily take in order to be able to ride my trials bike again. I had many injuries over the years, but admittedly this seems to be the most impactful one up to now. I had shoulder issues for years, I had tennis elbow last year, but I never posted anything about these injuries. This time I want to take you with me on this journey until I come back and ride properly again. So expect some videos on this topic, but I'll try not to annoy you too much with my injury and recovery. Nevertheless, I also have some cycling related videos coming, as I'm working on some very interesting projects. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it made you think a bit more about your own physique. I really hope no one gets injured, but unfortunately, injuries are part of the game, and our goal should be to either minimize them or, if possible, ensure that they have the least impact on our bodies. My dream goal is to ride and be physically active for as long as possible. I know that it will become more demanding as I'm getting older, and I'll have to make sure that I keep up with the training and recovery that is required to stay focused on this goal. But for now, I have an injury to overcome, and the road back is still unknown. Until next time, have you had any injuries that kept you off the bike? And if so, how did it happen, and what did you do to overcome your injury and get back on the bike? Please share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's make this comment section a motivating place for every rider who may be struggling to come back to riding. Thanks for subscribing and watching, and until next time, ride your bikes and please don't become weekend warriors like me. Bye!